Hello everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to part 1 of my story overview for patch 3.0. Obviously, this video will contain story spoilers for the game, so if you want to avoid that, please click away from the video now. Patch 3.0 takes place following the events of patch 2.55, with the Sultana's death and most of the Scions of the 7th Dawn gone missing after the escape from Ul'dah and the betrayal of the Crystal Braves. With nowhere else to go, Alphinaud, Tataru, and the Adventurer agreed to take shelter in Ishgard. Haurchefant has arranged for them to be wards of House Fortemps so that they may be granted access to the city. Upon entering the city, the group is introduced to Count Edmond de Fortemps, Haurchefant's father and head of the house. After a proper greeting, he bids the adventurer take a tour of the city, learning the important details about its past and present. The city is still damaged from the Wyvern's recent assault, and as such, Alphinaud offers the assistance of the Scions to help wherever they can. Edmond accepts this offer immediately, though his two sons are a bit more hesitant. Despite this, he reassures them that this is the Warrior of Light and their comrades that they are speaking to. With the matter settled, the Scions begin their mission of rebuilding and helping Ishgard. Both sons require some assistance in a few different areas. Sir Artois Rel requires the adventurer's aid in the Kurthus Western Highlands, an area that has seen little Eorzean activity since the Calamity. After arriving in Camp Falcon's Nest via the Black Chocobo Porters, and working with House Durendair's knights to restore certain aspects of the camp, the adventurer is tasked with finding a band of knights that were sent out looking for a heretic's hideout and have yet to return. Eventually, a lone knight is found, the sole survivor of a heretic ambush. He bids the adventurer head north looking for the hideout, since that is where they were attacked. After following a heretic all the way back to a stranded Chocobo ranch, Lady Iceheart makes her appearance. Before the two can fight, Midgard Solmer comes out and speaks to Iceheart, who reveals she has the gift of the Echo and has seen the true history of the Dragonsong War. Despite her actions against Ishgard earlier at the Steps of Faith, she did not seek the countless deaths of innocents, just to end the war. With doubt in her voice, she retreats, claiming that she will do whatever she can to fix what has been done and end the war. With the success of the missions in Falcon's Nest proving the adventurer's motives and courage to Sir Artois Rel, he admits that he had doubted them before, but will never doubt them again. Meanwhile, over in Camp Cloudtop in the Sea of Clouds, the other son of Edmont, Emanelain, seeks to outdo his brother with his mission helping House Haelenart. Lady Laniette, the local garrison commander, expresses disinterest in Emanelain's involvement in her responsibilities. While she bids the adventurer take an effort to ensure he is only responsible for minor missions in the area and that his manservant ensures he stays on task, she is eventually forced to give him a more dangerous mission. She sends the adventurer with him to retrieve a water crystal to help develop more water sources in the area in the place of the wells that they can't dig. While on this mission, Lord Emanelain challenges the adventurer to see who can find the best spring crystal. However, during this challenge, while the adventurer is separated from Emanelain, he is captured by the local Vanu tribe, the Vundu. Along with Haurchefant, the adventurer manages to free Emanelain only to be cornered during their escape. At this time, the Vanu call upon their savior, Bismarck, Lord of the Mists. Haurchefant, now more versed in the struggles that the Scions have had, recognizes this creature as a primal. Fortunately, a timely patrol of Cid alerts him to the group's situation, and he saves everyone just before Bismarck can make them food. After returning everyone to safety and flying off again to work on an Ishgardian airship, Lady Laniette thanks you for saving the young lord and bids that you all, Emanelain especially, return to Ishgard. After a brief scolding for his recklessness, unfortunate tidings are brought to House Fortemps. Alphinaud and Tataru have been accused of fomenting heresy by a member of the Archbishop's personal guard, the Heaven's Ward. The man at question, Sir Grenal, along with the other members, are ranked above all else in Ishgard other than the Archbishop. The only way to prove their innocence is to have them win in a duel against the accusing party, a trial by combat. Alphinaud agrees to fight, though Tataru is not exactly fit to do the same. She instead calls on a champion, none other than the adventurer of course, to fight in her place against Sir Grenau and Sir Palcrane. Alphinaud and the adventurer deal with the members of the Heaven's Ward, and thus, under Ishgardian law, are released due to their innocence being proven under Halone the Fury. Happy to see the adventurer overcome the trial, Haurchefant rewards them with a fully grown and trained black chocobo to allow them to fly through the areas around Ishgard. However, there is little time for celebration as the adventurer is called personally to meet the Archbishop himself, Thordon VII. After dismissing the Heaven's Ward, he admits to speaking to Ascians and even agreeing to their plans, at least for the time being. He has every intention of turning on them when the time is right, in hopes of releasing Eorzea from their grasp once and for all. For this to come to pass, he asks for the adventurers' help, though what will be required of them is not yet known. After briefly discussing this predicament to Alphinaud, who is shocked to hear what is going on with the Archbishop, Tataru realizes she forgot to mention a rumor she heard. Raoban is to be executed. Alphinaud quickly sets in motion to save him, making contact with Merlwyb, who has been gathering intel on the Sultanate and Raoban with the help of the Domans. She states that Raoban was moved to an unknown location by the Crystal Braves, and that the Ul'dah population has not been made aware of the Sultana's death, an odd thing considering the assumed intention of her assassination. This causes Alphinaud to ponder what the reason could possibly be. Merlwyb puts the adventurer in contact with the Domans, who have managed to track a unit of Braves, led by Yuyu Hase, to Halatali, where Ilberd has been spotted entering as well. With all the pieces lined up and the group sure that Raoban is within the confines of Halatali, they make a move to get him out. After overcoming Yuyu Hase, Ilberd, and Laurentius, the adventurer and their allies free Raoban before being invited to a meeting at the Waking Stands with the mysterious mistress. Upon arriving, it's revealed that this mistress is Dulala, a fellow member of the Syndicate. She confirms something that Alphinaud has been considering himself. Nanamo is indeed alive, being kept in a comatose state somewhere within Ul'dah. While Raoban and the others gather intel on the matter, Alphinaud bids the adventurer return to Ishgard and continue their work there. Before returning, Tataru alerts the adventurer that the Dravanian horde is preparing for another assault on Ishgard. With haste, the adventurer returns to Ishgard in hopes of finding a solution to this coming threat. After some deliberation, the Scions consider enlisting Iceheart in hopes of having her mediate with the dragons. Estinian insists he accompanies the Scions in their mission and, should the talks of peace prove fruitless, turn his lance on Nidhogg himself with the help of the Warrior of Light. After asking Sir Emeric to hold off any military action by the Holy See against the dragons until they are allowed to execute their plan, Alphinaud must now consider actually locating Lady Iceheart. After searching for any clues they can find in the Kurthus Western Highlands, the Scions eventually come across a letter detailing relations between a camp of heretics and the Akafa Amphitheater. With this possibly being the location of Iceheart, the Scions decide to teleport to it via the Aetheryte in Snowcloak. Upon arriving, they are immediately attacked by the heretics residing there, despite their peaceful intentions. After dealing with the assault, the Scions are disappointed to not find Lady Iceheart. However, one of the heretics gives them another clue, an island known as the Dreaming Dragon. After briefly searching for more information, they discover that the heretics communicate to this island using a purple signal smoke. Gathering some hides from nearby yaks, Estinian builds a fire that draws out Lady Iceheart with its purple smoke. After explaining the plan to parley with Nidhogg, Iceheart claims that this solution is impossible. The Scions don't understand the concept of time that the dragons perceive in their long lives, and Nidhogg will not relent from his goal to destroy Ishgard and reclaim his eye. To truly understand this, she must explain to them the truth behind the Dragonsong War. Over 1,000 years ago, several Ellison seek to inhabit the lands of Kurthus. However, dragons already inhabited the land and were not accepting of trespassers on their territory. This sparked a war between the two factions. However, one Ellison by the name of Shiva interacted with the great worm Hraesvelgr. Through their interaction, she learned that the dragons were incredibly intelligent creatures, and began to fall in love with Hraesvelgr. Due to the timeless nature of the dragons, however, Hraesvelgr's heart fell heavy, knowing that one day he would lose his beloved and be forced to live on without her. Instead, Shiva asked Hraesvelgr to consume her so that their spirits may live on together for eternity. Unwilling at first, Hraesvelgr eventually gave in to this request and consumed his beloved. This act sparked a peace between man and dragon that would last 200 years. Then, a band of greedy Ellison learned that a dragon's source of power comes from its eyes, and began attacking the great worms in hope of obtaining their immense power. This was how Nidhogg lost his eye, and how the Dragonsong War truly came to exist. Estinian is not entirely convinced of this story, that it is simply about Nidhogg's eye, at least not anymore. In an attempt to lure Nidhogg away from Ishgard, Estinian has been carrying that eye on him for some time now as he wanders the lands. While his plan worked at first, Nidhogg has more recently begun to target Ishgard instead, driven to madness by his own rage and desire to spill the blood of the Ellisons who betrayed the dragons so long ago. With Nidhogg's mind out of sorts, it is suggested that they instead talk with Hrace-Velgr in hopes of succeeding the talks with him instead. Iceheart joins the group on their mission with some hope that Hrace-Velgr will listen and the war can end peacefully. Upon taking on this adventure, the crystal of ice that shattered when Midgardsormr formed a covenant with the adventurer has been restored. What could this sudden restoration mean, and how will the adventurer fare in their mission for peace between man and dragon? We'll find out on the next lore video. Thank you for watching part 1 of my 3.0 story overview. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share for more videos, and I will see you all in the next one. Until then, take care.